Damian Lillard is undoubtedly one of the top players in the league. He's not only able to do incredible things on the basketball court, but he's also a great team leader. Truth be told, Dame has been one of the most valuable players in the league for years now, but he's never won the award. The closest Dame has ever gotten to winning the MVP award was in 2018 when he finished fourth in MVP voting. This season could be the best opportunity that Dame ever has to win the award in his career. Earlier in the season, the MVP race was clearly a two-man race between Joel Embiid and LeBron. They both were putting up incredible stats, and their teams were top two seeds in their respective conferences. But both Embiid and LeBron went down with injuries recently that potentially takes them out of the race. Now Dame and other guys like Jokic, Giannis, and Harden all have a serious shot at taking home the MVP award. So, does Damian Lillard have a legit shot at MVP? Let's talk about it. But before we continue, please like the video and subscribe as it really helps my channel grow. Now let's get started. Before we break down Dame's case for the MVP award, let's review the main criteria for the award. Now there is no official criteria, but there are unofficial criteria. The main unofficial criteria for the MVP award is that you have to put up incredible stats, and you have to be on a top two seed in your conference. If we look at the last 20 seasons, nearly every player who won the MVP award played on a 1 or 2 seed. Russell Westbrook is the only exception, and the main reason he won it was because he put up a stat line that hadn't been achieved in 50 years since Oscar Robertson. This is why even though Dame has been putting up MVP stats over his career, he never was really a serious threat for the award. The highest the Blazers ever finished in the standings with Dame is the 3 seed. So as we can see, team success matters just as much as individual success when it comes to this award. A lot of people, particularly Lakers fans, tend to think that Kobe was robbed of the MVP in 06 because he averaged 35 points per game. But what they always seem to forget is that the Lakers finished 7th in the standings that year. The MVP award went to Nash because he had amazing stats, and the Suns were the 2 seed in the West. James Harden also had an incredible scoring season in 2019 where he averaged 36 points per game. But guess what? He didn't win it because the Rockets were the 4 seed. Fair or unfair, the unwritten rule is your team has to be a top 2 seed and you have to put up amazing numbers to win it. Russell Westbrook is the only recent exception of this rule, and again, that's because he broke a 50-year-old record. Let's circle this back to Dame. This season, Damian Lillard is unquestionably putting up MVP numbers. He's averaging 30 points and 8 assists per game on a super efficient 62% true shooting percentage. And as this is being recorded, the Blazers are currently the 6th seed in the West, but tied for 5th. What makes Dame's case even more impressive is that he's doing this despite not having his 2 best teammates for most of the year. Both CJ McCollum and Nurkic have been out for most of the year, but Dame has kept the team afloat. He has received help from guys like Enes Kanter, Gary Trent Jr., who now plays for the Raptors, and Carmelo Anthony, but Dame has had an incredible impact on winning. The Blazers' record right now is 28-18. 10 games above 500 looks good, but they're not as dominant as their record appears. The Blazers actually have a negative net rating of minus 1.5. The reason for this is because while the Blazers are a top 10 offensive team, they're a rock bottom team defensively. The reason the Blazers win so many games is because they're dominant in the clutch. In fact, according to NBA.com, in games decided in the clutch, the Blazers have a league-leading record of 21-7. The reason the Blazers are so good in the clutch is because of Dame. Dame is the clutchest player in the league. In fact, Dame leads all players in the NBA in clutch points, having scored 128 clutch points this year, and he leads the league in fourth quarter points per game as well. What this tells us is that the Blazers are a very flawed team, but the reason they win so many games is because of the incredible impact and clutch ability of Dame Lillard. So as we can see, Dame has an excellent case for the MVP award, but the main thing holding him back is the fact that the Blazers are just a 6 seed. Fortunately, as I said earlier, this is a pretty unique year. The top 2 MVP candidates, LeBron and Embiid, are currently out with injuries that could take them out the MVP race. This creates an opportunity for other guys like Dame to have a serious chance to win. In fact, Dame was second on NBA.com's recent MVP ladder, right behind Giannis. While Dame certainly has a great shot, he needs to get the Blazers to climb up the standings. While the Blazers are 6th in the West, they're only 2.5 games from the 3 seed. If the Blazers can climb up the standings and get into the top 3, that really increases Dame's chances. Now let's take a look at some other MVP candidates and look at their cases. Giannis, who was number 1 on NBA.com's recent MVP ladder, certainly has a great case. The Bucks started off the year pretty slow, but recently they've been one of the hottest teams in the NBA, and they're currently the 3 seed in the East. Giannis is having a great statistical season, currently averaging 28 points, 11 boards, and 6 assists per game on great efficiency. And the Bucks are really close to the Nets and the Sixers, so they can easily break into the top 2. While Giannis certainly has a great case, the main thing going against him is voter fatigue. Giannis has already won the last 2 MVP awards, and we've seen the Bucks flame out in the playoffs in embarrassing fashion. Voters don't like selecting the same guy every year. It's the reason Michael Jordan and LeBron James don't have more MVP awards, even though there were plenty of years they probably should have won it. So while Giannis is having a great season, chances are the voters aren't going to give it to him. Next, let's take a look at Nikola Jokic. Jokic is similar to Dame in that he's another guy putting up incredible stats for a Nuggets team that's currently in the middle of the pack of the Western Conference playoffs. Jokic is currently averaging an insane 27 points, 11 boards, and 8.5 assists per game. Jokic is putting up assist numbers from the center position that we haven't seen since Wilt Chamberlain. And similar to Dame, Jokic has an incredible impact on winning. He's currently leading his team in points, assists, rebounds, and steals, and he doesn't even have a single all-star teammate. Without Jokic, the Nuggets will likely be at the bottom of the standings. But what holds them back is that the Nuggets are only the 5 seed, and in order for him to strengthen his case, the Nuggets have to climb the standings. Lastly, let's take a look at James Harden. Harden probably has the most underrated MVP case. He's leading the league in assists, currently averaging 11 assists per game, along with 25 points and 8 rebounds a game. The Nets were playing 500 ball midway through the year, but once Harden arrived, the Nets quickly became one of the most dominant teams in the league, and as of right now, they're the 2 seed in the East. What makes this even more impressive is that he's done this while not having KD most nights, and often without having Kyrie. Putting up great numbers like that while being on a top 2 seed should make Harden a prime candidate, but unfortunately, what hurts him is that he was traded from Houston to Brooklyn earlier in the year. According to Zach Lowe of ESPN, nobody has ever won the MVP award that was traded that same season. Narrative also plays a role in the MVP award, and I guess voters don't like the fact that Harden forced his way out of Houston. So, while Harden probably deserves the MVP award, he's not winning it, at least according to Zach Lowe. So as we can see, while there are some other strong candidates, no one is exactly running away with it. With about 25 games left in the season, the MVP award is still very much fair game. So, can Damian Lillard win the MVP award? I think so, but I don't think he'll win it if the Blazers remain in the middle of the pack. The Blazers need to go on a hot streak and climb the standings. If the Blazers can finish as the 2 seed, I think Dame has a strong chance to win the award. Luckily, the Blazers are getting healthy at the right time, so maybe that is something that could come into fruition. But anyway, guys, I want to hear what you think. Does Dame have a legit shot at MVP? If not, who do you think will win the award? Tell me in the comments. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe. And enjoy the rest of your day.